Good morning. Today is the 29th of November, 2023. Thanksgiving is over with. We always want to praise, honor, and thank God for all His blessings that He stored upon us, not just during Thanksgiving Day, but throughout the year, throughout our lives. Because ain't nothing promised, ain't nothing guaranteed. Christ is in control. So Isaiah 55 and 11 always state that God's word won't return back void, that it'll go out where God said it to go out. We're going to probably wrap up Ruth with this quick lesson today, because on Sunday, I got to go over the lesson of Ruth chapter 1. So I've covered quite a bit of Ruth, especially chapter 1, to glean over on Sunday. Let's just look at the lineage real quick of Ruth. Ruth, her being a Moab, a Moabite. I think we already talked about how she come through, not Abraham, but Lot. Lot was the nephew of Abraham. She come from that line. And Christ came through the line of the three women we're going to talk about today. We got to start with Tamar. We have to start with Tamar because, Tamar married two of Judah's sons. The Bible say that Christ had to come through the line of Judah. If you read the book of Micah, I believe chapter 5 and 2 says that Christ would come from out of Bethlehem, Ephrathah, through the line of Judah. And we know David came from that line, but Tamar is prominent because the child that she had two children by Judah, Perez, and I think the other one started with a Z, Zora, or something like that. But she was married. Tamar was married to one of Judah's sons. Actually, two of Judah's sons. One died, and then the other one ended up dying because God killed him because he was wasting his seed. The law said, the Levitical law said that if a brother passed, then the other, if there was a brother, that brother would have to, take on that responsibility of, not only taking care of the woman, but that having an heir from her, if it was in God's will, so the bloodline won't be done away with. And we can see how the kinsman redeemer in the book of Ruth with Boaz and all of that pretty much was the same way, because when Ruth's husband died and Naomi had no more sons, how Boaz took on that responsibility. But it started with Tamar, because through that lineage of Perez, because Judah ended up having a sexual relationship with Tamar because he didn't want his other son to be with Tamar because two had died. And he had told her to go back to her family and then just wait. But then it never did happen. He never did let his son marry her. So when Judah's wife passed away, Tamar dressed up. He was traveling somewhere and she dressed up like a harlot. And she was with him. And she took his staff and just took his staff and stuff, in the event that, she conceived and people would be like, Tamar is out here, doing this and that and everything. So she took his staff and that's kind of how she was able to not be killed, because when Judah was at first puffed up saying Tamar pregnant and who she pregnant by, all that, until he found out it was him and she had his stuff. But anyway, the lineage, the bloodlines come from right there, from Perez, and then going on. Then you got to throw Rahab in the equation because Rahab was a Canaanite. She was a Canaanite prostitute. I don't believe Tamar was a prostitute. I think she just dressed up like a prostitute to be with Judah. But the Bible do say that Rahab was a Canaanite prostitute, and Joshua and Caleb, the two spies, when they spied in on the promised land, she took care of them and made sure they didn't get captured, and housed them and helped them get away and all that. And I think we covered that earlier, because Boaz is the son of Rahab. And now when we come back with Ruth being a Moabite, we already know that story. So you got Tamar, Rahab, and Ruth. And I just want you to see the lineage, because we always just glorify that Christ came from a royal lineage, with King David. But there's some humble beginnings also with his bloodline, especially on the female side. So I just wanted to really quick cover that. And he is our kinsman redeemer. If you go to Revelation 5 and talk about how Christ is our kinsman redeemer. The whole book of Ruth, in a nutshell, is a love book, a book about how God loved us. And just like he gave Ruth a physical kinsman redeemer so that she would be taken care of, her and Naomi, and have an heir. Well, the Bible said we become heirs with Christ. And Christ spiritually is our kinsman redeemer. Thank God. And we're covered by the blood, saved by the blood. Christ intercede on our behalf. Thank God. He is our mediator. And I just wanted to cover that real quick. So I probably won't cover anything else until next week. This will probably be it for this week. So we were just breaking bread. The Bible is the bread of life. Christ is the bread of life. So we just broke bread together. As grass withers and flower fade, the word of God stands forever.